In this video, I will show you the exact workflow that I use in order to produce, design, and finalize logos in under a day. We will talk about turning strategy into visuals, building a full brand showcase, and also doing it all under a day using ChatGPT, Lovable, and Figma. So let's just dive straight into it. Just to get an idea of what we're going to discuss today, the logo design secret that saves me 20 hours per week. In an old way, in the classic traditional fashion of working with a client and finalizing a logo, you would definitely need to spend days in analyzing the brief, getting in contact with the client, and basically mapping out their vision. Then you definitely need days, maybe weeks, developing concepts, having back and forth with clients in order for you to not waste time finalizing logos that might actually never make it. And of course, you then have revisions. If you're lucky, maybe somebody won't have any objections and you can transfer and finalize the logo immediately. You might also have to present, have pitch decks, create a logo package. So you definitely need more than just one day to achieve that, or at least a very satisfactory. It would definitely take more than a day to achieve that. In our new way, as I mentioned, the 30 minutes is there to allure you, but I mean, it really depends on the process that you follow when it comes to logo creations and stuff. But you can definitely have fast logo iterations in under 30 minutes. So we're gonna use ChatGPT, Lovable, and Figma. We're gonna have a streamlined process, and of course, a live demo by me. We also have the list of prompts here that I prepared for us, and we're gonna have a demo brand that I created. So we're gonna use ChatGPT to analyze our brief and enhance it. In our case, it's gonna be a dummy brand, as I mentioned, but I also added a prompt that you can use in order to dump all the info that you have from a client. Then we're gonna use ChatGPT again and the image generation in order to create concept logos fast. Then we're gonna use Lovable to basically craft UI in order to showcase our logo in a cool way. And this can also help us bring some brand elements to life so that we can have a more clear image that we can showcase to a client. And then we're going to drop everything to Figma in order to have somewhere a place to basically edit everything instead of having it only as a live website. So in our case, I created a fake brand called RouteBase, which is a B2B SaaS. And they specialize in workflow automation. And we're gonna start with a blank ChatGPT conversation. And basically, the goal here is to generate a client brief and then extract data from that brief in order to start ideating about how a logo for this brand can look like. So as I mentioned, we can generate the comprehensive client brief for our dummy brand, or you can analyze the client brief that you have been given from an actual client. So here in ChatGPT, I'm gonna start the whole process by pasting the first prompt that I made, which is asking ChatGPT to generate a comprehensive client brief for RouteBase. Nothing crazy. It's gonna basically include the fake company overview, competitive advantages, target audience, brand personality, visual directions, technical requirements for our logo, success metrics and project objectives. I mean, I wouldn't even include that in our case, but it's whatever. So let's hit Control C, Control V, and let's give it a few seconds. So RouteBase is basically a B2B SaaS, workflow automation, a Series A startup from Amsterdam. Let's go. 75 employees. They offer a modular no-code automation platform. They are something like Zapier's, like Make.com. What else? Target audience, operation teams, IT directors, C-suite. And they are a results-driven company, risk-aware, they're strategic, reliable, innovative, efficient, professional. So all in all, we're talking about a more modern, tech-savvy company. So we're gonna follow definitely a more clean aesthetic, more aligned to something that you would see in a modern website. The key word is modular. I like it. I like modular UIs and the whole idea. Minimalist, smart geometry, industrial meets modern UI. Yeah, fair enough. I like that. Grid-based layouts. And then it gives us a couple of other visual style references, which is cool. And let's go for a logo application. Let's see. Monochrome friendly, scalability, of course. That's a given. That's a principle. File formats that we don't need right now, but it's okay. It's like a dummy brief. So I get it. Success metrics. Okay, yeah. It's not a necessary thing right now. Okay, I like this start. I like this a lot. So basically, in our case, we do have a lot of info about what the client needs. In this case, we need something that's very black and white friendly, high contrast, minimal, and something that brings trustworthiness. If you had an actual client and you had an actual, let's say, call, and you have recorded everything, you have a transcript that you can drop, then you can also do the following. Use a simpler prompt where you can drop everything that you have from this client call, brief, whatever, inside ChatGPT, and then you can ask to strategically transform this so you can get an idea of company positioning, competitive analysis, target audience, brand personality, and all that. So you can definitely basically do the same thing, but with an actual real life client. So now that we have an idea of how RouteBase logo can look, I also prepared beforehand, which basically follows this aesthetic, modern, cleanable, black logo on a white background. And then it basically added a concept, which is a circuit line aesthetic. But I also don't want to stick to only that. So I will just grab this prompt and I want to ask ChatGPT manually. I want to, based on the client brief, I want to start ideating on logo concepts. Here's a prompt I prepared, but I want to explore more scalable, friendly logo ideas. Let's add the prompt, and then I would say circuit line sounds like it's going to look terrible on smaller sizes. I just cannot imagine a thin line being visible in a favicon, for example. So we need more modern, minimal, unique approaches to this tech startup. Concept directions, routing grid R, a monogram build using clean lines, negative space R, split logic R, and abstract flow. I mean, these are cooler concepts for sure. So in our case, I will just try and see if a prompt made by ChatGPT can work well with the image generation function on inside ChatGPT. I will remove some sort of descriptions here just to not confuse ChatGPT. And to be honest, I will also remove the concepts just to see what ChatGPT can give me just based on this convo with a more vague prompt. And then I will just start adding each concept one by one to see how the results can look like. Imagine now pulling up and showing this to a client like a Helvetica R. Be like, yeah, this is the logo. So in this generation, I mean, I'm satisfied because I see this, which is a cool logo concept. I see this, which is way too minimal, but I can understand that there's some sort of idea here. So this gives me hope that if I go in a more detailed way here and basically start adding some sort of ideas about the concept, for example, the routing grid R, I feel like ChatGPT is gonna give me more unique concepts instead of just two. So let's see. The image generation here basically used this as a base, I would imagine, and gave it more life. I'm honestly a fan of this one on the top left. So I'm just gonna grab this image, and I prepared a blank Figma page for our brand. So since I like this one only, I'm just gonna keep it here as some sort of let's say mood board, and I'm gonna go back, and I will basically let's see, let's close this. I'll just grab a screenshot of this, and I want to come here and say explore more variations of this logo concept, introduce negative space letter R as a new concept here. I think I actually I wouldn't say messed up, but um, I don't see any negative space here. I actually wanted to chat with ChatGPT, but in our case, I think we just got an upgrade on our previous logo that we liked. So I would say that's a W still. But what I actually wanted to do here is to have ChatGPT give me a new prompt that I can use. So, okay, let's just grab this from here. So let's add something like provide me with an efficient prompt that I can use to generate an image here. Don't tell me that you're gonna generate an image now, because I just typed generate an image. Let's see, that's gonna be funny. Nice, okay. Design 4 black monogram logos, 2 variations inspired by grid-based routing R, and 2 using the negative space. Let's see, I feel like it's a chill prompt. Let's hit it. These are all very interesting concepts, especially this one. I find it cool, I would say, and it kind of plays with the whole negative space thing. I feel like I'm also seeing some kind of B in a way, so RB, RouteBase. So it's a good one. This one is way off, so I'm not really a fan of it. So nice, we do have two concepts now that they're visually appealing, which is a W. Let's bring this here. Amazing. So let's now explore more concepts. Let's go back a bit up and see what are there. So I want to explore the negative space more. So I want to say, let's now focus on providing a prompt that only focuses on negative space concepts for our logo ideas. Please provide me with an updated / new prompt for that. Design 4 black monogram logos for the letter R using only negative space techniques. Clean, minimalist geometry, explore cutouts, prioritize visual clarity, essential. No outlines, no textures, no gradients, no circuit lines, very important. Yeah, I think it looks cool. Let's hit create an image. So as you see live, this prompt really didn't work that well, which is okay. I feel like we're not very effective with how we present the image generations. So I want to try something new. I want to just type out something manually and not focus on providing something that's structured and efficient. I will say generate 4 rough logo sketches of a monogram letter R for our brand called RouteBase. Focus on providing 4 unique logo concepts that focus on the idea of negative space. Make sure that the logos are modern, um, actually not modern, that the logos have visual balance and can um, and follow modern logo practices. If we disregard the fact that the majority of them look similar, I really like the new introduction of this shape. Oops, let's copy this. I really like this as a shape, so I still consider this a good exploration. I love the fact that it's a sketch. It gives us a breathing room to fantasize more about how we can alternate shapes. This feels more strict and it kind of blocks my my vision in a way. So sticking to sketches is fun. So I would say something like, let's remove the first row of logos and introduce a series of monogram letter R that are more unique and abstract while maintaining a logo visual identity that you would see in a tech B2B startup. I'm going full manual here without polishing anything, just to see how what's the sweet medium on how to generate logos here. Sketches definitely work well. So this is overused. Never gonna use this. This is a nice idea on a more blocky version of the one right below. So since I have a 4 concept logo here for our monogram R, what I want to do is just scout, I don't know, my favorite websites for inspo for like 5 minutes, just to see if these ideas, first of all, are being used in some sort of way, and see if I can also find some other ideas that can capture well the essence of the brand that we want to achieve here. So is this gonna take 5 minutes from me max? I'm probably gonna jump to Arena or Pinterest just to see some stuff, so that I can see how we can effectively use ChatGPT here and how we can use better prompts to get to faster results. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll be back super quick. While I was off camera, I gathered a series of logos that I liked, and combining them with the ones that ChatGPT generated, I went ahead to a fresh chat in 4.5, and I'm basically asking ChatGPT to generate prompts that I can test out inside ChatGPT, so basically with DALI. And it gave me 5 prompts that I can start testing right away. I just want to make sure that ChatGPT is not gonna crash on me, because I feel like image generation is a very heavy process. So I will start testing each one of the prompts here in a fresh chat, just to see if we can have a series of good visual inspo that we can then iterate and refine more. The goal here is to basically have a finalized uh, option one of the logo, and then we can probably do one more, and then we can start showcasing the logos and all that. So I will just start testing that, and I'll be back with the results, basically. All 5 prompt generations, personally, I feel like they are very um, insightful, and I'm gonna explain why. At least in my opinion, this one, I think this is a killer one because it kind of basically. Let's grab the pencil. Let's see. I feel like it basically combines this style and kind of anything that has sharp edges here. So this is a cool one. Definitely something that I'm gonna keep and I iterate and refine on. Uh, After that, we have this one. I kind of feel like this is more of an exploration to see if we can play with sharper edges. In our case, we can probably just do that and remove this one for a more cool look. Um, the next one, I feel like this gives us a nice visual look into how a letter B would look inside the letter R. I mean, I'm not really a fan of this very sudden edge here, but we can definitely iterate with this logo idea and find a way to bring the letter B inside and have RouteBase, basically. And then the last one, I feel like this is a quirky logo. Would I personally use it ever? I feel like it looks nice, to be honest. It's a bold choice, but I'm gonna keep it just because it's a very unique approach and it kind of looks like a stylized letter R that has some depth here that goes that way. So we can probably replicate that as well, make something leaner. I'm not sure, but I'm very sure that the logo concept, the logo prompts here that ChatGPT gave us, nice, were spot on. So um, I loved the prompts you provided. They were very efficient. Let's explore more ideas or refine the current ones, and then suggest 5 more new prompts that I can test out. So basically, this one so far is a great one that I can definitely iterate on. So let's just mark it as something that I want to see. This can probably be the start of the option 1. And then I'm really intrigued with the idea of a negative space. So I think probably this is the option 2 that I can do off camera or whatever. But if we land on a cool logo that looks like a flow, a circuit, but it's also readable in small dimensions, that would be killer. So we are giving some feedback as well. I'll be back whenever the generation is over. A couple of image generations, and I will probably, so first things first, these are the generations that ChatGPT crafted based on the prompts. I believe that I would stick to this visual aesthetic for option number 1 at least, which basically is like the circuit style flow, because it just aligns well with the actual brand name, RouteBase. I love this one, the first one, and I really love the last one. And those two have potential, but they're not really there yet. So what I want to do now is basically grab those 4 as our new inspiration and follow the same process so that we can have more efficient and aligned prompts, so that we can see if we can generate a few more unique options before we start finalizing. I now want to show you what I did off camera in order to have a good idea of how I want the logo to look like, and how I basically finalized a good starting point for me to start refining a logo and basically having one solid option that we can use. So I just went ahead and I grabbed all of the reference images that I had, that I basically scouted, and of course some of them are generated by ChatGPT as well. And what I did is that I basically I basically asked for ChatGPT to analyze his logos and identify the visual style, and then to generate for me detailed text prompts that are basically efficient with ChatGPT's image generation tool. And to be honest, it did a very solid job because I then started experimenting with each one of the prompts in different chat after a while, I think. Yeah, because I was trying to basically narrow down the I want to follow. And in our case, as I mentioned before, I really like this flowing line style. So what I did was basically I narrowed down my inspiration. And as you can see, I basically used the same prompt in order to generate results that will mimic this style. And the results were very nice. As you can see, I'm narrowing it down more to refine this specific one. So I opened up a new chat, a new conversation, and I started basically trying out all of the prompts. As you can see, it starts weird, but then it gets better and better based on the prompts. It then gets back to normal, to nothing. But then whenever I'm putting in reference images, it really starts doing a way better job. And then whenever I actually put one of the references that I really, really like and stick to a prompt that actually worked, we get a very solid result. So in our case, what I basically mapped out here on Figma, we started thinking that this is a good start for our logo. So that's why I started experimenting to see if it looks well as a horizontal logo as well. But then midway, I realized that a style like this or a style like this will work better. So by using prompts and reference images, as you can see here, the full chat, we were able to land on a very solid logo idea basically. In a case where, let's say, your client wants 2 options or 3 options, I would basically follow a similar path in terms of finding out ideas. I would scout online, find things that I like, and keep on using them as reference images or asking ChatGPT to craft DALL-E appropriate prompts. And of course, an important thing to remember here is that sometimes if you keep on generating images back to back fast, ChatGPT may warn you that, oh, please wait 5 minutes, or the more you do it, the more you have to wait. So be mindful of how frequently you use it, just because you will probably get timed out for a few minutes. But if you see that there's like network errors popping up, it's probably time to either change the conversation or just wait for a few minutes for the cooldown to go away, basically. But other than that, the process was very simple and efficient. I was basically testing prompts alongside visual references, pretty much something that you would do with Midjourney as well, in a way. So I'm very satisfied with this result. So in a typical process, and this is what I'm going to do now as well, I just want to grab my reference, or basically, let's say that in a typical process, this would be our sketch or our draft. And I just want to bring it more to life, make it more visually balanced. Maybe I'll probably find more of a square shape as well. I'm not sure, but I will definitely refine this logo. My personal process is using Illustrator to vectorize everything and basically prepare everything there as source files in order to start dropping all the SVGs afterwards in Figma. And in our case, I will clean this up, basically create a monogram and a horizontal version that we can have, favicons, etc., etc. In our case, since this is a very strict logo and it's not this more curvy style, I think that a sans serif font that's strict could work very well here instead of something that's more curvy. So yeah, I'm just gonna invest a few minutes, probably, I don't know, half an hour, because the design is pretty much there. I just want to make it more visually appealing to my eyes at least. And yeah, if you had an option number 2, you would do the same thing. Option number 3, you would do the same thing, etc., etc. So I will just prepare a quick Illustrator file with all the necessary versions, and we'll take it from there. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. A couple of minutes have passed, and what I did was that I went ahead and I basically cleaned up the logo generation that we got from ChatGPT. I fixed up the widths, certain stroke heights, so everything is more visually balanced now instead of just being a static image. And as you can see, it's a full-on vector. I tried cleaning it up as much as possible to keep a cool flow. I think I did a pretty cool job for a couple of minutes. Of course, as I mentioned before, in a real client scenario, you probably need one or maybe even one more option, so 3 options total. Or you can definitely explore how this can look like. For example, one of the ideas I had was to see if I can create a letter B, for example, like this real quick, and see if something like an RB can also look cool, basically. So this is a very quick draft, but you can understand that you can explore a lot of ideas. So basically combine the two in a way and start using the shape builder tool to basically have a double letter instead of a monogram. And of course, space it out here as well. So you can definitely experiment a lot, especially if it happens to be an actual client and not something that you do to explore the tools. And once we have that, I jumped back into Figma in order to basically lay out everything nicely and clean in our work area here. And font-wise, I decided to go with Manrope. It's a Google font. I think it looks well and supports the font very well. It's equally strict. The lines, it combines basically curvature with sharp edges. So that's our advantage. Probably, if it was for an actual client, I would also test a font that's slightly more wide in order to support the width that our monogram R also has. So yeah, basically here we have our monogram and our horizontal version. And since we have a logo ready, or in a real client scenario, 2 logos ready, now it's time to showcase it. So as we mentioned before, Lovable is the way that we're gonna build quick UI prototypes in order to use them inside Figma to swap everything, put our logo, put everything else that we basically gathered from the client brief in order to decide on colors, typography. I have already decided about it. So our prompt here is the following. Create a professional, minimal, and modern UI page for a complete logo showcase for B2B companies. Include a clean hero section, a dedicated section for logo variations, a section for color palette display, a typography system preview, a professional grid-based layout. I would actually remove this grid-based layout for now. Focus on UI elements only, exclude mockups for physical applications. Yeah, we don't need mockups for now. We just need to focus on the logo. And style, minimalist, modern, professional aesthetic, and modular sections, mobile responsive, and clear hierarchy. So this is a generic prompt just to give us a good start in order to see how we can make it more route-based in our case. So I'm gonna click enter, give it a couple of seconds, and see what the first result is. Oh, we have a bonus as well. Build free for this weekend. It's probably a contest. That's fun. As we can see, Lovable did a pretty solid job to create a very simple, understandable brand identity showcase, logo showcase. So now our job is to, of course, enhance this. But before we go there, lock in how the color palette and other core crucial elements for RouteBase are going to look like. I went back to ChatGPT, and what I wanted to do is to basically drop our finalized logos here. And I was working on a prompt. Here I just said, here are the finalized logos for RouteBase based on the client's brief and our exploration. suggest. And then I wanted here to basically see what other areas we need to add inside our website. So I went back and forth with ChatGPT, and I basically developed two prompts. One that we can use inside our main conversation for RouteBase, which is basically the following. Here is the finalized logo for RouteBase, and we need to complete the brand presentation. We don't need the logo variations thing here because we have already got a logo. So we need to start with the clear space, usage on backgrounds, color palette, typography system, do's and don'ts, probably a tagline or a slogan, and a short brand story. So I want to grab these and actually the whole prompt, and I will remove number 1. Go back to this one and basically remove that. And now we can have some suggestions from ChatGPT on how we can start building the aesthetic around the logo. Of course, this involves you as well. You need to do research alongside ChatGPT. But this is a demonstration and an example. I'm just trying to save some time and basically feed Lovable with prompts that can give us a very solid aesthetic that basically aligns with our brand. So maintain a minimum clear space equal to the height of the R monogram. In my case, what I did was I used O and spaced it out evenly. So I'm not really worried about it at the moment. I'm just trying to showcase to you how deep you can go and how far you can go with that. And I'm very curious to see how Lovable is going to translate that. Usage on backgrounds is important. The color palette that ChatGPT is suggesting us is probably something that's neutral and gray. If I see here about the hex color in the name. So our secondary colors are blue. I'm not mad at it, to be honest. Of course, monograms is our typography system. Do's and don'ts, very classic. Have a tagline, automate flow, accelerate growth. That's cool. And we have also a small brand story. This is cool. So now that we have a lot of info that we can fill out once we finalize our web UI with Lovable, now I want to go back and basically grab the same logo in a way, but optimized for Lovable so that we can see a lot of updates happening here. Things will align more with our RouteBase brand as well. So as you can see, I'm basically asking ChatGPT to Lovable to refine our UI more, add new sections like the clear space one, the usage on backgrounds, refine the color palette as well. And yeah, so basically I have an idea that I just thought about. Instead, since we have a lot of info in this conversation, I want to paste this prompt and say something like adjust the above prompt in order to fill out all the blank info with our RouteBase newly updated brand identity we just discussed, so that we can basically have a faster result and Lovable doesn't have to go through the same page twice to update it. I'm curious to see if that will work. So we have clear space, logo usages, nice, the colors now appear. And I will basically say after that, make this prompt suitable for use inside lovable.dev in order to update a current simple logo showcase website that we are preparing for RouteBase. Awesome. So update the current RouteBase website. We have logo system, usage and backgrounds, typography and colors, logo guidelines, and a footer. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool update, but I just want to point out that for RouteBase, just type out the word using monograms. I will later swap all the logo areas with our actual logo. So add placeholders for now. Here we are after ChatGPT Lovable's updates. As you can see, the overall style seems to be still very relaxed, very on point, very modern, very minimal. I love how typography combines our tagline and slogan and basically showcases everything nicely. I love the colors and how they look, very low key. Logo guidelines, very slick as well, very chill. So overall, we're doing amazing. It's a very great start. We have our base ready to start even now swapping logos. But in our case, I just want to spend a few more minutes and see how we can elevate this even more and align it even more with our branding, basically. So I want to basically start and grabbing a screenshot of the current. I hope it doesn't get my camera as well. I'm not sure. So I want to grab a full-on big screenshot, go back to ChatGPT and say something like, this is the current preview of our website. Suggest ways that we can refine the UI in order to achieve an even more unique and aligned look with RouteBase's brand identity. So my prompt was kind of vague, so it suggests actual brand changes. I was referring to the look and feel of the actual website's UI and not so much about our brand identity. It gave me a couple of nice suggestions. Add modular sections, improve typography, increase visual density, use rounded patterns, improve the buttons. So I'll basically ask now, awesome, suggest lovable.dev prompts I can use for our efforts to refine the UI more. Now let's see if we actually agree with the prompts that ChatGPT is going to give us. Refine the layout to use a tighter vertical rhythm. Apply consistent horizontal padding. Yeah, we definitely need more visual balance for that. So I like the prompt. Update the logo showcase grid to use elevated cards with subtle shadows, rounded corners. Okay. Tighten the type hierarchy. Yeah, for sure. That's definite. Okay. So let's start slowly, and I will basically start adding those updates so that we can refine our UI more and aim for a look that you would feel satisfied with. And of course, you can always transfer this to your GitHub repo, edit this further with actual manual code if you're an engineer, or with Windsurf, with Klein, and really dive deeper into this. Because if it's an actual client, I would do the same for sure. But in our case, we probably stick to Lovable and go afterwards into Figma to swap the logos, just to have an idea of how this would look finalized. So let's give it a couple of seconds, and I will keep doing a few of the updates that we see here, and I will inform you in just a few seconds. Here we are back again after a couple of back and forths, which I'm going to discuss about real quick. So here's a preview of the current website after the updates that I did. As you can see, we have a logo system. We have cool hover over animation on all of our elements. We have short explanatory sections about whatever we're looking at, logo applications. As you can see, we have different scenarios, application standards, typography, display H1 to H3, body language. You can see that we have all the necessary details that you need each time. And of course, some guidelines or brand colors. You hover over, more details show up about the color. Incredible job. And of course, our simple do's and don'ts. And I completely trimmed the footer and made it super simple. So how did I do that? I didn't really do anything crazy here. I just started where we left off. 1 second. So I basically just started using the prompts from ChatGPT that I think that aligned well with my vision and how I wanted the brand to look like. And in reality, I basically used probably 3 or 4 of these. And I mostly used prompts that were related to spacing, fixing typography, or fixing the brand, how the brand looks and the cohesiveness, basically. And after that, I just went manually, and for each section, I was basically typing out something like the following. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Here. For example, refine the usage and backgrounds, which doesn't exist anymore because it's been refined. Introduce a more elegant and modern UI to showcase the different logo variations, for example. And then for typography and brand colors, as you remember, it was in one section. I typed it out something like make them their own sections, refine their UI, introduce a more elegant and modern UI that also aligned with our brand identity. So I did the same thing for each one of the sections, and this is the result that we have. So now I want to test if it's possible through dev mode to drop our actual logos in SVG and PNG form here and see if I can ask Lovable to do the swap for me. So let's go back to Figma, and I'm gonna basically prepare those logos for PNG and SVG download. Here we have the RouteBase logos in white and black, SVG and PNG. And I want to see if I can drop them here or something similar to that, but unfortunately, I'm not really able to. I can probably test out. Let me see. I was pretty certain that you could add things here, but apparently not. Okay, that's okay by me. Okay, it's actually not possible. That's fine by me. What I want to do here is basically grab our website now. In our scenario, I'm satisfied with it. I wouldn't mind presenting this to RouteBase in our case. Of course, you can dive deeper with Lovable, refine it more. We can explore that in upcoming videos as well. So now that we have a preview of an actual website that is working, I will open up my plugin called HTML to Design, which I also discussed in some other videos. This plugin basically captures your current page and then gives you a file that you can drop inside Figma using their Figma plugin so that you can have a full-on page that is editable and you can fully customize on Figma. It is a plugin that you can go pro and have more features, but I'm pretty sure you have a lot of free usages every couple of weeks or every month, but it's definitely worth using it. Now that we got our file, which is called H2D, its format, I'm gonna come here and open the plugin inside Figma. We are still in our draft workspace. And I wanna go to my downloads in this case and grab the H2D file, which contains our page. Here you can see that a couple of options pop up. I usually like keeping auto layout on, and also it would be nice to, create local styles and variables. This is an attempt from this plugin to basically do the componentization for you. I think it's good to keep it on just to have a head start, or basically look right away and decide on changes, etc., etc. So I keep it on. And of course I hit go, and now you will see the magic happen, and boom, we do have our actual live website into Figma. Of course, a lot of features like hoverovers do not work right out of the box, but as I mentioned before, if you want to dive deeper and actually present this live website to a client, you can always go back to Lovable, hitting this GitHub button so that you can sync your project to GitHub. And then we can definitely dive deeper into that in another videos as well. I don't want to go full on and have a lengthy video, but you can use Windsurf, or if you're an actual engineer, you can just swap the logos with the dummy logos that we have now and basically push your changes to GitHub and have a working version with the updated logo. In our case, let's stick to Figma, and let's say that for now, we need to see our logo in our updated page that we're going to present to the client. And if they eventually like it, let's say that we can afterwards update the live website as well. So here what I want to do is to basically grab my logo, and I will just start swapping everything here whenever it comes to our logo with our actual current logo. As you can see on the screen, it's a quick video here. Swapped out the dummy logos for our RouteBase logos in the website preview, and it actually works. Everything is interactive, and yeah, I think it looks nice. It's definitely a very high value way to present the logo idea to a client. So let me know if you want me to show you how to do this as well, how to do any changes that you need on Figma, and then how to use Windsurf to apply your own logo instead of the placeholders, and share this with the client and get immediate feedback. And of course, you can do this with more options. And as you can see, everything looks smooth, very modern, very in line with the brand identity that we want to achieve. Yeah, and I love the font as well. If we look closely, letters A, lowercase, have a really nice flowy vibe to it. We hit jackpot. I think it's a very nice dummy brand that we explored here. Let me know if you want this workflow as well, how to swap stuff from your dummy page previews that you build with Lovable in order to add your own. If you're a designer that wants to utilize AI to get paid and noticed more, then click the link in the description below and book a discovery call with me. I'm currently building workflows and testing tools in order to further enhance the branding process. So hearing from you, your ideas, your pain points, or anything else can really help me out produce the perfect videos, courses, and resources for you guys. My ultimate goal is to establish a private community where I will lay out all of the greatest workflows to achieve amazing brand results in just days, not months, not years. So please, if you are serious about your design practice and you want to take it to the next level utilizing AI, book a call by clicking the link in the description below. Thank you so much.